Welcome back to CIA Declassified. It is 2005. The world is waking up to a new reality, one where the information superhighway isn't just a path for communication, but a massive and visible ocean of data. In the wake of the September 11th attacks, the directive from Fort Meade was clear: collect it all. But the old ways of tapping phone lines are obsolete. The targets aren't just making calls, they are sending emails, browsing forums, and transferring files through a chaotic global web of fiber optics. You are standing in the sanitized, freezing air of a telecom switching center in San Francisco. The walls are lined with black racks of humming equipment, but behind one unassuming door lies room 641A. You are standing at the edge of the digital abyss, the blue glow of status LEDs reflecting off your safety goggles. The air in this high-security vault is dry and tastes like ozone circulated by fans that roar with the collective heat of the world's secrets. Beneath your feet, the fiber optic cables hum with the silent transit of trillions of bits. You watch as a field technician carefully peels back the protective coating of a glass thread no thicker than a human hair. With the precision of a surgeon, they apply the optical splitter, and suddenly a duplicate stream of light begins to pulse toward the agency's sensors. You are witnessing the bifurcation of reality, where every private digital moment is split into two, one for the recipient and one for the archive. The sheer scale of the harvest is dizzying. As you move deeper into the sensor suite, the console displays a real-time visualization of the traffic. It looks like a glowing neon nervous system stretching across the continents. Every packet header flickers past, a digital fingerprint of a student in Berlin, a banker in Dubai, or a dissident in East Asia. You feel the immense gravity of the glass web as it pulls in the noise of a planet and begins to sort it. You aren't just an observer, you are part of the front-end filter, a ghost sitting at the crossroads of human thought, deciding which sparks of light are benign and which are threats before the user has ever finished their sentence. Inside this windowless void, an optical splitter is silently bleeding the light. Every email, every bank transfer, and every private message passing through this backbone node is being mirrored in real time. You feel the vibration of the petabytes of data rushing past you, a literal torrent of human thought and secrets. You aren't just an architect of access building a glass web that catches every digital fly. To your left, a senior signals analyst monitors high-speed sensors. Its screen a blur of IP address and metadata selectors. The setting is one of clinical efficiency masking total visibility. On one side of the fiber, the private lives of millions. On the other, the sifting algorithms of a ghost in the machine. You watch as the sensor flags a target signature in less than a millisecond. This is the operational reality of TURMOIL, a project that treated the World Wide Web as a single listening post. This wasn't just a database, it was an active interdiction system. In the classified depths of the NSA, the agency was mastering packet-level logic to filter the noise of the world and find the signal of a threat. The internet backbone is being rewired into a universal ear. This is the pulse of the digital underground, the high-speed surveillance where the boundary between private and public vanished into a stream of light pulses. Why turmoil? The reason for this designation lies within the broader turbulence architecture. While its predecessor, the Trailblazer project, failed due to its monolithic scale, the agency pivoted to a modular approach. Turmoil was named to reflect its role in the passive processing of the chaotic, unmanaged turmoil of raw internet traffic. It was designed to sit at the front end of the collection process, sifting through the digital storm to find specific selectors before the data was even stored. It was the filter in the midst of the chaos. To understand the scale of the glass web, we must examine the specific mechanics that turned a global network into a private archive. Turmoil, utilized optical fiber taps at major internet exchange points, IXPs, to copy raw data streams. The program utilized high-speed processing cards capable of analyzing traffic at 10 gigabit per second line rates. TURMOIL integrated with the keyscore system to provide analysts with real-time query capabilities. I have an episode on that as well. The program utilized hardware-accelerated decryption to strip away layers of standard SSL encryption. TURMOIL tipped the Turbine system to launch active exploits when a target was detected. Packet-level filtering allowed the agency to ignore video streams while capturing email text in milliseconds. TURMOIL operated at international cable landings in Cornwall, UK, and Oman. The program utilized quantum theory techniques for man-on-the-side attacks. TURMOIL used fashion cleft protocols to label and exfiltrate data from targeted implants. The program the program did replace the older wealthy cluster system for handling high-volume packetized data. TURMOIL utilized deep packet inspection, DPI, to identify file types hidden within encrypted tunnels. The program used metadata extractors to map social connections between targeted IP addresses. TURMOIL maintained global sensor nodes in both friendly and adversarial nations. The program utilized special collection SCS teams to install hardware directly into commercial data centers. TURMOIL monitored the global roaming data of mobile users as they transitioned between networks. The program used virtual private network VPN fingerprinting to identify and potentially strip secure tunnels. TURMOIL processed traffic from satellite downlinks to capture remote communications. The program utilized automated target identification based on behavioral heuristics rather than just names. TURMOIL shared data with the Five Eyes partners through the WinStop umbrella. The program used covert backdoors in network hardware like routers and switches to facilitate collection. TURMOIL utilized large-scale graph analytics to visualize communication webs. The program used tactical signals intelligence nodes deployed in conflict zones to monitor local internet traffic. TURMOIL intercepted webmail cookies to gain unauthorized access to accounts without passwords. The program utilized high-altitude relays for intercepting microwave backhaul communications. TURMOIL monitored peer-to-peer P2P networks for the distribution of encrypted payloads. The program used logic bombs within its own sensors to self-destruct if the hardware was physically tampered with. TURMOIL utilized Bull Run to weaken global encryption standards at the source. That's another one I have an episode on. The program used language translation engines to translate captured foreign text in real time. TURMOIL maintained listening stations disguised as diplomatic facilities. The program used cloud computing infrastructures to scale its processing power during global crisis. TURMOIL monitored financial transaction networks like SWIFT. The program used audio transcription software to convert voice over IP VoIP calls into searchable text. TURMOIL utilized hidden taps inside undersea cable repeaters. The program used MAC address tracking to identify specific hardware devices regardless of the user's IP. TURMOIL influenced the security protocols of major American tech firms through national security letters. The program used thermal sensors in its server racks to optimize processing speed under heavy load. TURMOIL utilized dark fiber networks leased from commercial providers under false pretenses. The program used stenography detection to find messages hidden in images. TURMOIL maintained safe data buffers for storing encrypted traffic for future brute forcing. The program used cryptographic key escrow acquired through clandestine operations. TURMOIL utilized commercial satellite imagery to verify the physical location of target servers. The program used psychological profiling of system administrators to facilitate insider access. TURMOIL utilized quantum-resistant encryption for its own internal data exfiltration. The program used automated redaction tools for sharing sanitized intelligence with law enforcement. Turmoil employed mathematicians specialized in elliptic curve cryptography. Who specialized in elliptic curve cryptography? The program used digital watermarking to track the spread of leaked classified documents. Turmoil utilized traffic analysis to identify the source and destination of communications even when the content was unknown. The program used high-resolution timing to identify users behind anonymity networks like Tor. Turmoil utilized logistical support hubs in Utah for massive data storage. The program used micro-splicing robots for precision taps on fragile fiber cores. Turmoil utilized private contractors from companies like Booz Allen Hamilton. The program used signal amplifiers to maintain data integrity over thousands of miles of interposed lines. Turmoil utilized air-gapped processing for the most sensitive key recovery operations. The program used synthetic traffic injection to test the robustness of its own surveillance filters. Turmoil integrated with the Muscular program to tap Google and Yahoo data centers. That's another one I have an episode on. Here is a quote from a Declassified former agency director, but the name is redacted. We just know it's a former agency director. Privacy in the digital age is an illusion. The only thing that matters is who has the best filters. A quote from an internal NSA presentation on passive collection. We are sifting through a haystack the size of the planet, but with Turmoil, we've learned how to make the needles glow. Declassified quote that's an operational directive for the Turbulence Program Office. If it's on the backbone, it's ours. The internet was never meant to be a secret garden. A quote from a retired signal intelligence technologist, but there's no name. Packet level logic is the DNA of modern intelligence. We are reading the blueprints of our adversaries' thoughts. A quote from a declassified NSA technical memo on optical surveillance. The light in the fiber doesn't lie. It carries every secret if you know how to split it. And a quote that's a statement for the record by LTG Michael Hayden. Our success is defined by what we stop before it starts, and Turmoil is the early warning system of the 21st century. Quote from a declassified CIA technical intelligence assessment. The global internet backbone is the nervous system of the world. We have simply learned how to tap into the synapses. End quote. The most guarded sections of the Turmoil dossier are located in Annex Q9, titled Domestic Backbone Cooperation. This annex contains over 500 pages of absolute blackout. The primary shield is Exemption B3, protecting sources and methods, but specifically shielding the identities of U.S. telecom executives who provided warrantless access. There is also extensive use of Exemption B7, which protects law enforcement techniques that overlap with domestic policing. I suspect these pages detail the Room 641A installations in every major U.S. city. Furthermore, I suspect this section contains the legal workarounds used to classify domestic communications as foreign intelligence if they merely crossed an international border for a fraction of a second. Finally, the redactions in the hardware backdoor section suggest that the agency may have infiltrated the supply chain of every major router manufacturer in the world. In the flickering light of a million screens, the digital shadows take on a life of their own. For instance, there's also the total information awareness theory. It suggests that Turmoil isn't just a filter, but a predictive engine that uses artificial intelligence to predict a person's future crimes based on their browsing history. Then there's the Silicon Valley Pact conspiracy. Some believe the agency didn't just tap the fiver, but actually funded the startup of major social media companies to ensure the surveillance architecture was built in from day one. Then there's the Echelon 2.0 theory. It's a persistent speculation that suggests that Turmoil is part of a global psychological control program that uses the internet to nudge the populations of entire nations towards specific political outcomes. And then there's the binary blackmail conspiracy. A darker speculation posits that the agency maintains a digital vault of the private indiscretions of every world leader captured through turmoil, ensuring that no one can ever challenge the deep state without their secrets being leaked. Was turmoil a success? Tactically, it was a technological triumph. The project solved the impossible problem of mass-scale internet surveillance. It successfully moved the agency from targeted tapping to dragnet collection, allowing for the identification of threats that were previously invisible. By operating at the packet level, it achieved a level of granular visibility that changed the face of signals intelligence forever. Turmoil proved that the internet backbone could be tamed and turned into a weapon of national security. In the theater of modern conflict, this precision allows the military to map the electronic environment with total dominance before the first shot is fired. Strategically, it was a constitutional crisis. While the project provided unparalleled intelligence, it did so by eviscerating the concept of privacy. The global backbone penetration blurred the lines between foreign and domestic, leading to a series of legal challenges and a loss of public trust that continues to plague the intelligence community. Ultimately, turmoil proved that you could watch the world, but you couldn't do it without breaking the social contract, leaving a legacy of total surveillance that has forever altered the relationship between the citizen and the state. For the military, this trade-off provides a seamless view of global communications that facilitates the rapid neutralization of high-value targets in real time. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, turmoil led to quite a few. For instance, real-time packet filtering began as a tool for state surveillance to find terrorist selectors. Today, this has evolved into the content delivery networks, CDNs, and advertising engines that power the internet. For humanity, this technology allows for high-speed streaming and instant information access by routing data with absolute efficiency. In the cybersecurity world, it is the foundation of next-generation firewalls that detect and block malware signatures at the speed of light, protecting global networks from cyber attacks. Simultaneously, the intelligence community employs these high-speed filters to isolate sensitive data streams from millions of concurrent users to identify covert transmissions and contested zones. Fiber-optic backbone penetration was pioneered by turmoil to gain unrestricted access to global data. Today, for humanity, this technology is used for network performance monitoring and global internet health diagnostics. It allows service providers to identify cable breaks and congestion points instantly. In the military and intelligence sphere, it has evolved into submarine cable warfare, where the ability to tap or sever the ocean floor fibers is considered a primary strategic capability in any modern conflict. This same backbone access allows the military to establish clandestine communication links through existing commercial lines without alerting foreign adversaries. Automated behavioral heuristics grew from the program's need to identify target behavior without a name. For humanity, this has become the fraud detection system used by credit card companies to stop unauthorized purchases. In the digital world, it is the recommendation algorithm that suggests your next favorite movie or song. In the intelligence community, this tech has been absorbed into predictive threat analysis, utilizing massive data lakes to identify anomalous patterns that suggest a state-level cyber campaign is in its early stages. Tactically, this allows the military to predict the movements of insurgent forces based solely on changes in regional communication patterns rather than individual messages. Metadata social graph analysis was developed by turmoil to map invisible connections. Today, for humanity, this is the social networking engine that connects billions of people. It is used by epidemiologists to track the spread of infectious diseases and by researchers to understand human migration patterns. For the intelligence community, it has evolved into network-centric warfare, where the ability to map the command and control structure of an adversary allows for surgical strikes on the most critical human nodes. The military utilizes this graphing technology to identify and isolate key logistical support figures within rogue states, effectively paralyzing their operations from the inside out. The history of turmoil is a journey into the digital panopticon where the flow of information is the currency of power. It was a project that asked, how do you listen to the thoughts of the world? It functioned as the ultimate invisible witness, proving that in the age of the internet, there is no such thing as a private conversation. This digital gaze remains the bedrock of modern statecraft, ensuring that no secret remains safe from the silent siphon. The operational success of the backbone tappers was matched only by the ethical fracture it created. Every packet that was filtered was a victory for national security, but every privacy violated was a step toward a world of permanent surveillance. We now live in a transparent society where the glass web is no longer a secret, but a structural reality of the modern world. The fracture between individual freedom and collective security continues to widen as these tools become more pervasive in our daily lives. As we look back at the digital shadows, we see more than just a successful surveillance program. We see the birth of the data hegemony. The ability to capture and analyze the world's communications in real time remains the ultimate leverage in global statecraft. Turmoil provided the technological blueprint for this reality, turning the internet into a managed space where knowledge is the only true security. This blueprint is now being used to construct even more advanced systems that seek to map the human psyche itself. Furthermore, we must recognize that the turmoil method of mass collection is what allowed the world to transition into the information age with a sense of controlled order. The technicians who built these systems weren't just spooks, they were digital cartographers who understood that in the 21st century, data is the new geography. This culture of total visibility continues to influence how nations and corporations interact with the billions of users who inhabit the web. We are the explorers of this new geography, mapping a world where the boundaries of the self are written in fiber and light. The real lesson of the project is that in the world of high-speed surveillance, the most powerful weapon isn't a bomb or a bullet. It's an algorithm. The glass web is not a place on a map. It is a calculated visibility where the keyboard is the microphone and the agency is the eternal listener. And the silence between your keystrokes, the listener is always waiting to hear what the world will say next. In a digital world, your metadata says more than your messages. In a high-speed network, the filter is the king. Security is not the absence of risk, it is the presence of information. And remember, the light in the fiber never sleeps, and neither does the sensor. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we examine MK-NEW, the secretive CIA recruitment program that targeted the youth and student activists of the world. We'll look at the campus fronts, the ideological screening, and the scholarship traps that turned the leaders of tomorrow into the assets of today. Join us next time for The Student Spies. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.